Hello and welcome to another episode of Today's Medicine. I'm Dr. Hugo Pellegrino, and today I'll be talking about Betty White. Betty White was a former actress that died on the night of December 31st, 2021. As always, thank you very much for watching today's videos. And please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, we do have English, Spanish, Portuguese, and French subtitles.
Betty Marion White Ludden, January 17th, 1922 to December 31st, 2021, was an American actress and comedian. A pioneer of early television, a career spanning over 7 decades, White was noted for her vast work in the entertainment industry and being one of the first women to work both in front and behind the camera. She was the first woman to produce a sitcom, Life with Elizabeth, in the United States, which contributed to her being named honorary mayor of Hollywood in 1955. Betty White is often referred to as the First Lady of Television, a title used for a 2018 documentary detailing her life and career. After making the transition to television from radio, Betty White became a staple panelist on American game shows including Password, Match Game, Tattletales, To Tell the Truth, The Hollywood Squares, and the $25 Pyramid. Dubbed the First Lady of Game Shows, Betty White became the first woman to receive the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show Host for the show Just Men in 1983. She was also known for her appearances on The Bold and the Beautiful, Boston Legal, and The Carol Burnett Show. Her biggest roles include Sue Ann Nivens on the CBS sitcom The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Rose Nyland on the NBC sitcom The Golden Girls, and Elka Ostrovsky on the TV Land sitcom Hot in Cleveland. She gained renowned popularity after her appearance in the 2009 romantic comedy film The Proposal, and was subsequently the subject of a successful Facebook-based campaign to host Saturday Night Live in 2010, garnering her a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series. White worked longer in television than anyone else in that medium, earning her a Guinness World Record in 2018. White received 8 Emmy Awards in various categories, 3 American Comedy Awards, 3 Screen Actors Guild Award, and a Grammy Award. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and was a 1995 Television Hall of Fame inductee. After the United States entered World War II in 1941, Betty White volunteered for the American Women's Voluntary Services. Her assignment included driving a PH truck with military supplies to the Hollywood Hills. She also participated in events for troops before they were deployed overseas. Commenting on her wartime service, White said, "It was a strange time out of balance with everything." After the war, Betty White made the rounds to movie studios looking for work, but was turned down because she was, quote-unquote, not photogenic. She started to look for radio jobs where being photogenic did not matter. Her first radio jobs included reading commercials and playing bit parts, and sometimes even doing crowd noises. She made about $5 a show. She would do just about anything, like singing on a show for no pay at all. She appeared on shows such as Blondie, The Great Gildersleeve, and This Is Your FBI. She was then offered her own radio show called The Betty White Show. In 1949, she began appearing as co-hosts with Al Jarvis on his daily live television variety show, Hollywood on Television, originally called Make Believe Ballroom, on KFWB and on KCOP-TV in Los Angeles. White began hosting the show by herself in 1952 after Jarvis' departure, spending 5.5 hours of ad-libbing television 6 days per week over a continuous 4-year span. In all of her various series over the years, Betty White would sing at least a couple of songs during each broadcast. In 1951, she was nominated for her first Emmy Award as Best Actress on Television, competing with Judith Anderson, Helen Hayes, and Imogen Coda. The award went to Gertrude Burt. At this point, the award was for body of work, with no shows named in nominations. In 1952, the same year she began hosting Hollywood on Television, Betty White co-founded Bandy Productions with writer George Tibbles and Don Feddersen, a producer. The trio worked to create new shows using existing characters from sketches shows in Hollywood on Television. Betty White, Feddersen, and Tibbs created a television comedy, Life with Elizabeth, while White portrayed the title character. The show was originally a live production on KCOP-TV in 1951 and won Betty White a Los Angeles Emmy Award. In 1952, Life with Elizabeth was nationally syndicated from 1952 to 1955, allowing White to become one of the few women in television with full creative control in front of and behind the camera. The show was unusual for a sitcom in the 50s because it was co-produced and owned by a 28-year-old woman who still lived with her parents. Betty White said they did not worry about relevance in those days, and that usually the incidents were based on a real-life situation that happened to her, the actor who played Alvin and the writer. White also performed in television advertisements, seen as live in television in Los Angeles, including a rendition of Dr. Ross dog food advertisement at KTLA during the 1950s. She guest starred on The Millionaires in the episode The Virginia Leonard Story as the owner of a small-town diner that received an anonymous gift of $1 million in 1956. From 1953 to 1954, Betty White hosted and produced her own daily talk show, a variety show, The Betty White Show, on NBC. It was her first television but second show to feature that title. Like her sitcom, she had creative control over the series and was able to hire a female director. In a first for American network variety television, her show featured an African American performer, but the show faced criticism for the inclusion of the tap dancer Arthur Duncan as a regular cast member. The criticism followed when NBC expanded the show nationally. Local southern stations in the Jim Crow era threatened to boycott unless Duncan was removed from the series. In response, Betty White said, "I'm sorry, just live with it," and gave Duncan even more airtime. Initially a ratings success, the show repeatedly changed time slot and suffered lower viewership. By the end of the year, NBC quietly canceled the series. Through the 1950s and 1960s, Betty White began a 19-year run as hostess and commentator on the annual Rose Parade broadcast on NBC, co-hosting with Roy Neal and later Lorne Greene, and appeared on a number of late talk shows, including Jack Paar's The Tonight Show and various other daytime game shows. In 1973, Betty White made several appearances in the fourth season of The Mary Tyler Moore Show as the quote-unquote man-hungry Sue Nevins. The role garnered Betty White her second and third Emmy Awards. Although considering the role a highlight of her career, she described the character image as quote-unquote icky sweet, feeling she was the very definition of feminine passivity, owing the fact she always satirized her own persona on screen in just such a way. A running gag was how Sue's aggressive, critical personality was the complete opposite of her relentlessly perky TV persona on the fictional WGN television show The Happy Homemaker. We need somebody who can play sickening sweet like Betty White, Mary Tyler Moore herself suggested at a production meeting, which resulted in casting Betty White herself. Betty White won 2 Emmy Awards back-to-back for her role as a hugely popular series. In 1983, White became the first woman to win a Daytime Emmy Awards in the category of Outstanding Game Show Host for the NBC entry Just Men. Due to the amount of work she did on them, she was deemed the first lady of game shows. In 1985, Betty White scored her second signature role and the biggest hit of her career as the St. Olaf, Minnesota native Rose Nyland. The show chronicled the lives of 4 widowed or divorced women in their quote-unquote golden years who shared a home in Miami. The Golden Girls, which also starred B. Arthur Stalgatti and Rue McClanahan, was immensely successful and ran from 1985 through 1992. Betty White won 1 Emmy Award for Outstanding Actress in a Comedy Series for the first season of The Golden Girls and was nominated in that category every year of the show's run. Stalgatti was also nominated every year, but in the Supporting Actress category. In 2009, Betty White starred in the romantic comedy The Proposal alongside Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. Also in 2009, the candy company Mars Incorporated launched a global campaign for their Snickers bar. The company's slogan was, "You're not you when you're hungry." Betty White appeared alongside Abe Vigoda in the company's advertisement for the candy during the 2010 Super Bowl. The advertisement became very popular and won the top spot on the Super Bowl ad meter. Following the success of the Snickers advertisement, a grassroots campaign on Facebook called Betty White to host Saturday Night Live. Please began in January 2010. The group was approaching 500,000 members.
If you need to take a break, you can always visit my website. The link is down below. Grab yourself some popcorn and a cup of water.
When NBC confirmed that on March 11, 2010, that Betty White would in fact host Saturday Night Live on May the 8th. The appearance made her, at age 88, the oldest person to host the show, beating Michael Spillman, the winner of SNL's Anybody Can Host contest, who was 80 years old when she hosted in 1977. In her opening monologue, Betty White thanked Facebook and joked that she didn't know what Facebook was, and now that she does know what it is, she has to say, it sounds like a huge waste of time. The appearance earned her a 2010 Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series. In June 2010, Betty White took on the role of Elka Ostrovisk, the house caretaker on TV's Land's original sitcom Hot in Cleveland, along with Valerie Bertinelli, Jane Leeves, and Wendy Malick. Hot in Cleveland was TV Land's first attempt at first-run scripted comedy. The channel has rerun other sitcoms since its debut. Betty White was only meant to appear in the pilot of the show, but she was asked to stay on for the entire series. In 2011, she was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series for her role as Elka, but lost to Joey Bowen from Modern Family. The series ran for 6 seasons, a total of 128 episodes, with the hour-long final episode airing on June the 3rd, 2005. A Betty White calendar for 2011 was published in late 2010. The calendar featured photos from Betty White's career and with various animals. She also launched her own clothing line on July 2010, which featured shirts with her face on them. All proceeds go to various animal charities she supported. Betty White's success continued in 2012 with her first Grammy Award for Best Spoken Word Recording for her bestseller, If You Ask Me. She also won the UCLA Jack Benny Award for Comedy, recognizing her significant contribution to comedy in television, and was roasted at the New York Friends Club. A television special, Betty White's 9th birthday party, aired on NBC a day before her birthday on January 16, 2012. The show featured appearances of many stars whom Betty White worked with over the years, as well as a message from the sitting president, Barack Obama. In January 2013, NBC once again celebrated Betty White's birthday with a TV special featuring celebrity friends including former President Bill Clinton. The special aired on February 5 that year. On February 15, 2015, Betty White made her final appearance on Saturday Night Live when she attended the 40th anniversary special. She participated in the Californians sketch alongside members of the current SNL cast members, as well as Bill Hader, Taylor Swift, and Kerry Washington. In the memorable sketch, White ends up kissing Bradley Cooper. On August 18, 2018, Betty White's career was celebrated on a PBS documentary called Betty White, First Lady of Television. The documentary was filmed over a period of 10 years and featured archived footage and interviews from colleagues and friends. In 2019, Betty White appeared in Pixar's Toy Story 4, providing the voice of Betty White, a toy tiger that was named after her. The other toys she shared the scene with were named and played by Carol Burnett, Carl Reiner, and Mel Brooks. Betty White commented that it was wonderful the way they incorporated our names into the characters, and I'm a sucker for animals, so the tiger was perfect. On June 14, 1963, White married television host and personality Alan Ludden, whom she had met at his game show Password as a celebrity guest in 1961, and her legal name was changed to Betty White Ludden. He proposed to Betty White at least twice before she accepted. The couple appeared together in an episode of The Odd Couple, featuring Felix and Oscar's appearance on Password. Among the couple's high-profile friends was writer John Steinbeck. In her 2011 book, If You Ask Me, and of course you won't, White writes about her friendship with the author. Ludden had attended the same school as Steinbeck's wife, Elaine Anderson Steinbeck. Steinbeck gave an early draft of his Nobel Prize in Literature acceptance speech to Ludden for his birthday. Alan Ludden died from stomach cancer on June 9, 1981 in Los Angeles. While they had no children together, she was a stepmother for the three of his children from his first marriage to Margaret McLaurin Ludden, who died of cancer in 1961. Betty White decided not to remarry after Ludden's death. In an interview with Larry King, when asked whether she would remarry, she replied by saying, "Once you've had the best, who needs the rest?" When asked by James Lipton on Inside the Actors Studio that should heaven exist, what would she like God to say to her when she walked through the pearly gates, Betty White replied, "Come on in, Betty, here's Alan." White attended the Unity Church, part of the New Thought movement. Animal welfare. Betty White was a pet enthusiast and animal welfare advocate who worked with organizations including the Los Angeles Zoo Commission, the Morris Animal Foundation, African Wildlife Foundation, and Actors and Others for Animals. Her interest in animal welfare began in the early 1970s while she was producing and hosting the syndicated series The Pet Said, which spotlighted celebrities and their pets. As of 2009, Betty White was the President Emerita of the Mary's Animal Foundation, where she served as a trustee of the organization beginning in 1971. She was a member of the board of directors of the Greater Los Angeles Zoo Association since 1974. Additionally, White served the association as a zoo commissioner for 8 years. According to the Los Angeles Zoo and Botanical Gardens Zooscape member newsletter, Betty White hosted History on Film from the year 2000 to the year 2002, while donated nearly $100 to the zoo in the month of April 2008 alone. Betty White served as a judge at the 2011 American Humane Hero Dog Award ceremony at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in October the 1st, 2011 in Los Angeles. In September 2011, White teamed up with English singer Luciana to produce a remix of her song I'm Still Hot. The song was released digitally on September 22nd, and the video later premiered on October the 6th that year. It was made for a campaign for a life settling program, the Lifeline. Betty White served as a judge alongside Whoopi Goldberg and Wendy Diamond for the African Humane's Hero Dog Awards in the Hallmark Channel on November 8, 2011. Racial injustice. In 1954, as the Betty White Show became national across the United States, Betty White was criticized by many in the southern states for having Arthur Duncan, a black tap dancer, on her variety show, and was asked to remove him. Her response was, quote-unquote, "I'm sorry, live with it." As a result of this, she gave Duncan even more airtime, and her show was soon cancelled by the network. In 2017, 63 years after the show was cancelled, Duncan appeared as a surprise guest on a series premiere of the reality talent Little Big Shots Forever Young, where he performed and reunited with Betty White, later thanking her again for her support. A support and advocate of LGBT rights, Betty White said that, quote-unquote, "If a couple has been together all that time and they are gay relationships that are more solid than some heterosexual ones, I think it's fine if they want to get married. I don't know how people can get so anti-something. Mind your own business. Take care of your affairs. And don't worry about other people so much," she said in a 2011 interview. Betty White said that she always knew her close friend Liberace was gay and that she sometimes accompanied him to premieres. Betty White died of natural causes in her sleep in her home in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles, California, on December 31st, 2021, at the age of 99 years old, 2.5 weeks before her 100th birthday. White's death was met with sympathy and statements from many people and organizations. For example, U.S. President Joseph Biden, released a statement upon her death describing her as a lovely lady and as a cultural icon who is sorely missed. Barack and Michelle Obama also expressed sympathy on social media. The United States Army released a statement as White had volunteered with the American Women's Voluntary Services during World War II. Additionally, the Martin Luther King Jr. Center tweeted their condolences and praised Betty White for her early support of racial equality. There were additional tributes from numerous media organizations, celebrities, political commentators, sport themes, musicians, and other public figures. Betty White's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was flooded with flowers and tributes within hours of the announcement of her death.
You're gonna ask me, Dr. Hugo, why are you telling me about Betty White? I'm telling you about Betty White because this is a very special lady. She managed to live to almost 100 years old. In a nutshell, what can I say to you? She never stopped eating hot dogs. She always had whiskey. She always had whiskey when she was in her house. And you're gonna tell me, okay, that's not right. Stop eating meat. Stop drinking. But this is a woman that literally means the definition of a person's combination of genetics and a person's combination of happiness. And happiness, that's what I want to focus in here. As always, thank you very much for watching today's video. If you have any doubts at all, you can always send me an email at hugo.loh@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching today's video.